Hello there, it's Collette from the Sacred Rose Temple, and I am really happy to be back with this recording on the energy for this week, having missed last week and missing you all and sharing the information about what is happening within our collective energy spiritual field. And yes, much needed week off for my birthday and just recalibrating in my body, soul, and psyche. A lot of the energies that we have been working with, and for me, some deep lessons into my sacred sexual self and all that I teach with some new teachings being born with inside of me. So that's all really good news. I am wanting to check in with yesterday's energy, really a little bit of a retrospect before we go forward, because I reported on the Uranus Kamezi and how that was kind of an awakening of soul force, erotic soul force in my eyes, working with feminine mysteries. I really felt that yesterday was pivotal. It was a pivotal day, a really pivotal moment where there was an electrical force came into our sacred consciousness. And in the mystery traditions, we see kind of this as a divine disruptor. It's a seeding of revelation into our psyches. And it was very mental awakening, but like deep erotic awakening. Eros for me means the pulse of life. It's a force that stirs us towards embodiment, connection, and all that is divine. So just sat with a dream that I'd had that invoked the whole energy in my body. I was sat with a rising, a setting sun, and a image of a young masculine and a divine masculine counterpart at my side. And the dream really reeled something in me that I'd been blocking myself from. And it was almost feeling like when Uranus touches the sun, it doesn't care who you think you are, it shocks you into truly understanding who you are underneath your conditioning and your unworthiness and your blah, blah, blah about yourself and the ways you behave that are self sabotaging and the stories you have to justify that self sabotaging behavior, basically. So there's an awakening in the body, and it really is inviting us to let go of old stories. It was a direct transmission. I felt a penetrative transmission. I called it one of the yoni of the psyche, but it was trying to penetrate us into the veils of our repression, our shame, patriarchal residue that have been keeping us small and quiet in the feminine energy, both in any sex body. And the feeling that we've been clinging onto these stories, these ideas about ourselves, these labels, like we have an old lover. It's an outdated story, as is the old lover, as is the old job, as is the old life for you. It's a version of yourself that no longer fits in this new energetic movement and moment. And it really is being quite strict in saying to us, stop making a shrine of your wounds. Stop. Stop sitting at the altar of your wounds. You wound it. There's something called woundology, where we get so capsulated by the wound that we sit in it, that we sit in it, we sit in it. And wounds are not meant to be sat in. Wounds are meant to be healing, going through healing. We move through them, we emote through them. And if we're stirring around in a wound, it means we're not emoting, we're not releasing, we're not moving forward in them. And the sacred sexual feminine energy is an energy that will liberate you from false vows. It will liberate you from these false wounds, these false labels, and the Shakti and the Eros within the wild feminine current within you can really come alive and change that. There will be a lot of heat in the body. I experienced that last week, lots and lots of heat in the body, because this heat that comes with this portal yesterday was really trying to burn away illusions. It was trying to burn away the old conditionings, the rules that you had for yourself, and allow this erotic innocence and sacred power to come through. It interrupted inherited patterns that you hold around love, desire, and self worth. It's asking you to be radical about them and to let go of outdated sexual templates, sex, connections, energies that you are craving because the wound within you is hungry. And instead of liberating the soul into deep, deep, deep connection there is this space where you're being tempted into those outdated energetic drains that are really a reflection of the places that still need to be healed or need to be let go of. So it's about our sacred sexuality meeting our spiritual sovereignty, and to say that this electric energy is really pointing to those places because you are indeed afraid of the real you who holds all the supercharge, all the power, and the ability to make this change. So yesterday was, we're going to feel the fractals of that this week. I really hope many of you sat with the energy yesterday. It was intense. I was tortured by it, to be quite honest. I was in a lot of feeling. I was silencing myself. I was, yeah, just like my womb was very active and alive. There was a lot of feeling of emotion. I was a lot of anger. I also held somebody in a whole anger process on the land. It was pretty tempestuous, shall we say. But what it was trying to do is reframe everything. And what we get to do is walk into this week as we get, you know, the Gemini energy coming in. And the Gemini energy is very different to the Taurian. Like Taurian energies had us quite intense and dense and earthed. The Gemini energy is quite restless and curious, and that curiosity is going to bring ideas, messages. It's going to be seeking freedom. It's going to have a lot of air energy, and everything's going to be aired and moved. And the air's going to make us like let go of some rigidities and some beliefs of ourselves that are bollocks, basically. And then the air can also make us feel quite scattered. So there could be like a scattering of your thoughts, your energy. Be very aware of that. That's going to take some discipline, some spiritual discernment to realize when you're scattered and when you're spreading energy everywhere. You know, these symptoms of tiredness and just other somatic responses that your body has to scattering energy, to giving it all away, following these little leads that dilute you, are needing to be stopped. This current energy, the 23rd, we also will see like waning crescent moon, and the waning moon is letting go. It's resting. It's surrendering ego given momentum before the new moon comes on the 27th. So it's all about that space of aerating, allowing. There is, because the moon is in Aries, a warrior fire within us, initiation, impulse, individuality. So that warrior fire within us is very important as we move forward, to identify what is your warrior's fire, what will initiate the warrior into a new future. Because if we imagine that at the moment, our warriors are standing at the crossroads of fire and air, and it would be an ideal time to imagine that crossroad and courageously name what you're going to release, and think about the new ideas, the new way of living, the new way that you're going forward into a whole new energy of shift through that warrior energy. It really is going to ask you to communicate, like communicate. Use your voice, speak. We find ourselves between a space of head and heart, and Taurian, heart centered, earth centered. What's the space between head and heart, and how can you communicate from there with curiosity, with a space that you don't know about yourself? You don't know what's to come. You don't know. But that communication is seeking a connection to find out. And it's definitely an exciting time to be leaning in, to sharing ideas with somebody, to working with somebody, to feeling the part of you that could co-create something quite beautiful, should you let go of an old version, an outdated version of yourself. So it's going to ask you to find a layer of courage and initiative to see a new cycle before you. We are going to really feel that the innovation of ideas is coming through the burning away of the old self-lead, self-discipline and leadership and pioneering efforts want to come through for us. There's a lot of focus on long-term goals and really feeling for me that message, that long-term goal, that inner knowing of what's next for me and really standing by it now, feeling this whole new space of co-creating with masculine energy to do some work in the field that I've worked in as a lone single female, as a lone woman working in her, her gifts and her purpose on my own, and really wishing now and feeling truthfully brings up a lot for me that it's time for me to step side by side with a masculine to teach these work dually. And that has come up in my dreams. It's been coming up in real time. And actually, there's been some shifts in offers to work with me, which have been through masculine, in male bodies, and really taking time to sit with them all this week and feel what feels in alignment and what doesn't, and what beliefs I'm still holding on to that are outdated that might prevent me or make me work with it. So, yes, some deep, deep digging for us all. And the last thing I want to mention is just to bring in the archetype for you that is going to want to work with you as we go forward this week. So mine's the sacred sexual priestess. She's very, very dominant in my psyche at the moment. What archetype is dominant in your psyche right now? And what does that archetype want to do? What's its purpose here? How does it want to navigate forward in your warrior with the hands in hand of your warrior? It's all worth deep consideration as we move forward into this week. And I really am holding blessings for you all to really find these parts of yourselves that have been withdrawn, held back, stuck in old beliefs, ideologies, and the ego of the self, so that you can come into this new divine movement forward into the sacred work you're here to do and the relating and the communicating that is actually really waiting for you right now. So, as always, I send this with love and good intention and wish you the most energized week full of prospect and newness, and sending you much love in the midst of all you are and all you are becoming. Bye for now.